The last great Coliseum plays host to the first race in the Highline Racing League ASC Services and Supply Series round of 8. Only 3 more rounds remain in the championship quest, and we kick it off in Bristol, baby. Qualifying is underway for the Racing Warehouse 150, and I'll be your host along the way. For those coming back after last night's incredible action in the Coca-Cola 300 with the Highline Racing League at the helm, it was a great show. Scott Zellner came out on top, but we're in a much different combination, different track, and a different car. Either way, I'm still your broadcaster, David Kreutz, and I'm glad to have you aboard. A star-studded night for FTN, whether you're with me or if you're with the LSR TV crew in the Road to Pro scene. However, the championship battle is coming to an end in both ways, and here, with 2 minutes remaining in qualifying, just when we come onto the frame, qualifying is already over. Casey Heschel, the last man on the track, and when he comes around next time by, that will be in. He goes to the pole position. Your last qualifying run takes it by 26 thousandths of a second. And just as we began, it is over. That's qualifying here for tonight's event. However, your starting grid won't be relevant. The reason is we're going to be doing heat racing, but since we have more time to fill, let's get it in on your screen. Either way, the hot lap heroes have already gone through for the first time this season ever since the Roval. We've got a field under 20, so I don't believe we'll see multiple heat races. We'll drop either in straight to the 150 lap main event, or we will have one heat race. The last chance qualifier will be redundant and won't be seen. Every driver in this race will qualify. So that being said, and the grid being set up, let's get it on your screen here and now. And this will be your starting grid for the first round of the round of 8. Of course, it is race number 15. And without further ado, this is your starting grid for the Racing Warehouse 150. It's a short one, but it is a sweet one. On number 49, Casey Heschel, 14.545 for a contender week in, a week out. He's found himself on the trail for victory after victory. Got very close last time we went racing. And for Corey Blevins, playoff heartbreak, not going to make it to the round of 8, but nonetheless starts on the outside of the front row. We're going to have a heat race to see whether or not he's able to stick it up there at the start of the main event. Going to be Chad Winstead, third spot on that inside line. And inside line drivers go to heat number 1. If we have it, outside line drivers go to heat number 2. So second in heat 2 going to be Dylan Clark with a 14.616, and Scott Zellner, your winner of the most recent Premier Series race and your winner of the Coca-Cola 300, going to be starting third in heat number 1. Alongside him going to be Dylan Petit, third in heat 2 with a 14.651. Roberto Ramirez, one of the Clash guys as well, getting there with a 15, not in time. It's going to be a 14.653, 7th spot overall. Going to be starting in 4th for his heat. Going to be Kendall Kerr, 4th in his heat as well, and he was just outside of the playoff bubble. Comes into the night the first man out. 5th in heat number 1 going to be Scott Wheeler with a 14.668, and it's going to be 5th in heat 2 Adam Bozzi with a 14.686. Every driver divided by row as we go to the rest of this field. It's going to be Alan Cummins, 6th in heat 1, 14.695 for him. Is Brad Kress going to be able to kick it off 6th in the second heat with a 14.743. James McKee, the number 9 machine, your playoff favorite so far, comes into the night 102 points above the bubble, and he's in a good spot to go all the way. McKee going to be starting in position number 7 for his qualifying heat. Kenny Brooks going to be 7th in heat number 2 for the number 54 with a 14.862. Caleb Morrissey, position number 15, last of those still in the playoffs with a 14.912. He's going to start 8th alongside Terry Brooks, who will start 8th in heat number 2 with a 14.923. Dylan Body and that number 26 machine will be your race control, and that will be your starting grid for tonight's event in the Racing Warehouse 150. And Casey Heschel already on your screen. The number 49 machine due to start his heat up in front, and the fans are on their feet. A packed crowd in the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. And as it stands, we're going to take a look at our session information, find out what the deal is after the first heat. It appears that we will not have a last chance qualifier no matter what. 16 drivers registered. for this event. And then the 17th man will be the driver in that number 26 who's playing race control. And as you can see, the entirety of the field already there on your frame. No heats, let's get right into it. A 150 lap main show in the last great Coliseum. That sounds like a short distance, but this track brings out the best in all the action on NASCAR's circuit. And when it gets fierce, it gets tight, and the race could become that much longer if we see some yellow flags. And as a matter of fact, 35 laps here for the entirety of the field. So this will be your qualifying heat. 35 of these drivers looking to go for one heat. It looks like everyone's shuffled into this one, and we will have one opportunity to get up through the field or go all the way down. A 35 lap heat with no yellow flags. Time to re-rack them and restack them so you can gain the most and who might lose the most. It's all about this one and only as Casey Heschel leads the way. And just when we thought qualifying would be set by those hot laps and then by the heats, it looks like now only one heat will be the one that decides it all. The number 49 of Casey Heschel, oh so close to getting it done in Kansas. It was a hard-fought battle between many drivers in the Midwest, but Tornado Alley, it found itself in a bit of a twister later on. That final restart, a green-white checkered, ended in a yellow flag, and Scott Zellner came home with his 12th overall career win, the winningest driver in all of this league's history. Your season 10 champion. He's had a great week, winning last night and winning last Thursday. It looks like he right now finds himself in the top 5. He has a good chance to perhaps go for it once again. One more lap of pacing before we get to the racing. It's going to be Casey Heschel leading from Corey Blevins. Blevins tried to put up the last stand in Kansas, got close, no cigar at the end of the day. Was not enough with that one good run. The Charlotte Roval simply fell out of his favor. So with that being said, times are changing, and tonight could be the big breakout for some drivers, and it could be the night that ends it all for some others. The number 5 of Dylan Clark, he won to lock himself in very early, and he found himself as the top seed going into this round. However, it's going to be an all-oval playoff from here on out. He'll have to adapt, and we'll see if he's going to be cut out for it. Past the hot lap and pace cars in. The racing is underway. Your qualifying heat begins, led by Casey Heschel here in Bristol. And Heschel right now up in front, 3 laps in out of 35, just like that. Going to be a bit dicey, big wreck. Going to be the big man, Brad Crest, down and around, and he finds himself up on the wall. Bad news immediately, and the 29 looks to have his qualifying run over. He's going to come down to pit road and pit it immediately. 4 laps in, and just like that, Brad Crest gets caught up in the first incident on the night. Coming down the back, working it with Roberto, and it goes up high. Brad Crest does. Ramirez goes a bit higher. They meet in the middle, and then Brad goes off the bumper to the Scott Wheeler machine. Make contact, and Brad Crest gets the worst of it. It's a major hit from Terry Brooks. So as we go back live, he's already 3 laps down. It's not the end of his race, but 5 laps in, and qualifying has gotten dicey as Casey Heschel has gapped Corey Blevins all the way back to second, a second back, as Chad Winstead goes down low to try to get that runner-up spot. The 13 machine able to hold on strong for now, but it is still far from over. The battle has only just begun as the 13 machine leads him off a corner number 2. Chad Winstead leads a band of drivers, and Dylan Clark now going to be in big trouble, and all the way down he falls into 14th. Another driver caught up in an incident, and this is bad news for this number 5 as he continues to adapt to the oval style of racing here. It looks like it catches him out early, and he finds himself up in the wall. That's not going to be all the exposition we not want to see. Let's find out what happened. And the 5 goes right down low, appeared to be on his own for the most part. Then coming off a corner, he was not. And not only the 97 with him, but Adam Bozzi. Bozzi tapped him, ran him up the track. And while it looked at the 5 be able to save it off a corner exit, just got way too loose. And that was all she wrote. And Caleb Morrissey now involved with an incident. And we're going to keep in the replay state to find out what happened. The 6 machine was alone in what looked to be the 14th spot as he worked his way down the backstretch. He still is in 14th, and as he just got by Dylan Clark, he's going to go for a wild ride here and now. The number 6 keeps it alone, goes to the top side, tries to get a runoff exit, and when he does, it looks like he just slows it down, and not much more else to say. He comes down a pit road regardless and now finds himself a total of 3 laps down. As we look back up in front, Caleb Morrissey is in, and Casey Heschel looking for the win has led already 12 laps of racing. It's been fast, it's been furious. We've seen some wrecks, we've seen some chaos, and the number 49 machine has led all of the laps here tonight. Corey Blevins, though, now gaining just a bit. He's half a second away from the 49 and looking to grab pole position. Coming down the back, 14 laps in, out of 35, and working his way downtown. The number 13 machine does, as Chad Winstead is going to be there in 3rd, Dylan Batiste in 4th, and Kendall Kerr is in 5th. Scott Zellner right now in the back bumper, that number 21 machine, and he is right there for the taking, right on board with that number 2 of Scott Zellner as they work their way down the back, 15 laps in. And Scotty Z going to be able to take it right up high. He's got multiple drivers to keep an eye out for, though. Kendall Kerr right now right in front, but don't, of course, sleep on that number 31 of Dylan Petit. Petit finds himself in 4th. Going to be starting in the front 2 rows at that rate, and he's kept himself just outside of the podium. Winstead going to be able to lead this battle for 3rd, and it's going to be a 3-car pileup as they pile themselves up to the top. No wreck, but figuratively speaking, they were indeed a bit stacked up on one another, able to keep it going. Nonetheless, working all their way down, and the driver of that number 21 machine now, Kendall Kerr, finds himself a little bit further lower, and it's going to be big time touching for Dylan Petit in the wall with that target circle machine on target to stay in 4th, but it looks like he's going to have a bit more pressure to keep the aim on sight up high. Dylan Petit keeps it. Scott Zellner now going to be up high as well. It's going to be deep sea diving for the 21 machine. Kendall Kerr refuses to let go. Down low he stays, and it looks like it's going to be the 21-20 to keep in it. But it looks like, indeed, once again, 20 laps through, he fades. Casey Heschel leads the way, and Corey Blevins about 3/10 adrift, looking to get right back into the playing field. Corey Blevins looking to get his first win of the season, and what a night it would be to get it done. The number 13 machine looking to win after being eliminated from the playoffs, and what a twist it would be if that number 13 is going to have that checkered flag pace all night long. Down low we go with the man in that number 49. Now Casey Heschel has some competition. Corey Blevins goes right down low. This is for pole position 22. Make it 23 laps in, and it's going to be the number 13 who leads the way off of corner number 4. It's going to be a big time move, but Heschel does not take kindly. Casey right down low. He has himself real close, but it looks like nothing can come of it just yet. The 13 of Corey Blevins leads the way, and with only just about 15 odd laps to go and counting down, it's unbelievable how quick that number 13 has gotten, pushing very quickly to the checkered here. Corey Blevins now has about a 4/10 of a second advantage, and the KC Heschel machine finds itself in 2nd. Chad Winstead going to be able to break away in 3rd. The battle persists here for 4th, and this is the battle to start in the front 2 rows. Dylan Petit currently has that final spot in them, but Scott Zellner is still on the bumper. He won't lay off, gets a bit of room down low. Now the number 31 machine sees the 2 right there, does not budge. Scott Wheeler comes in as well. Going to be 2 of the 4 horsemen working together. And off a corner exit, they are stacked down on the inside line. Dylan Petit now sees that Scott Zellner gets a bit of a run here, and he still has himself dead even. 27 laps in. Petit's up high, Zellner's down low, and they're side by side sliding each and every time around. Scott Zellner does not have much momentum on that bottom line. It simply seems the high side will persist in the Highline Racing League, and at number 31 will be able to keep himself in that position. 4th spot still his, but it's going to be Scott Zellner there with the number 21 of Kendall Kerr. Double file once again, breaking it down. Lap after lap, it's going to be contact. They save it, and Scott Zellner now fades back all the way in to 7th. He steals a shot here as a teammate comes up to work it. The 97 gets into Kendall Kerr's grill and gets right by it, and now that number 31, Dylan Petit, has one more driver to fend off lap number 30. He's done it for the most part. And he do it again. That all remains to be seen. They work their way off corner number 4. Scott Wheeler right down low, be able to keep himself right intact. Dylan Petit now going to be up in front of it as the last traffic up in front for the leaders makes it a 3-car game with only 5 laps to go. Petit's in the wall once again. They're slipping, they're sliding, and now Scott Wheeler has the spot down low. Look who's back in contention. Scott Zellner worked his way in, and James McKee on his own, watching a hell of a battle right in front, slicing, dicing. Take a look at that. The number 32 goes back at it, and now looks like Zellner able to take that spot for Dylan Petit. Looking up in front, though, the battle gonna settle here. The leaders have not settled at all. Take a look at that. Casey Heschel right down low, and he's got himself in the flow. 33 laps in out of 35, working their way off the stretch one more time around. It's gonna be a final lap dash at the rate this one's going. Casey keeps it on us, and it's gonna be Corey Blevins with that momentum, battling right back. Combative racing with the 1 lap to go in your qualifying heat. It's going to be all or nothing for Corey Blevins to hold on strong. 13 machine up high. The last lap to determine your pole sitter, and Blevins working his way to 3 and 4 has a shot. Casey digs deep, but it's going to be no use, and off of corner number 4, Corey Blevins will start in position number 1. The pole goes to Casey Heschel, or does it? By 1/10, Corey Blevins gets it right over. How about that from qualifying stardom for the 49? It goes over to your heat race winner, and Blevins determines the pole sitting position. He finds himself up in front of a 150 lap race. Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great coliseum, and it is getting packed. Dylan Petit going to be there in 8th. Your grid is still loading right up. And as we wait, the track is filled with fans. The iRacing official pace car going to let these guys get back on. It's going to be Brad Kress in the last position. Caleb Morrissey fades to 15th. Adam Body is going to be the man who drifts down into 14th. Bozzy does. And the driver of that number 15 machine, well, not here. 15th spot, though, held by the 6. Bozzy going to be 14th. Ramirez is in 13th. And Alan Kuhlman will be in 12th. Kenny Brooks going to be in position number 11. Dylan Clark is 10th. Terry Brooks is 9th. Dylan Petit is 8th. Scott Zellner, position number 7, has James McKee right in front of him. Kendall Kerr rounds out the top 5. It's going to be Scott Wheeler in 4th. Chad Winstead in 3rd, and your front row are Casey Heschel and Corey Blevins. Blevins right now in that 13 going to get on his way as the green flag will fall in 2 laps time for the Racing Warehouse 150. And as every driver passes the front row and the starting lineup gets on their way, only 2 more laps to get settled in after a phenomenal heat race, a few wrecks along the way, and the question will be now, will we see those similar wrecks continue, or will this one go much cleaner from what we just saw on that heat event? 35 laps to get the qualifying grid, so not only are the stakes a bit lower, it's not as bad to wreck your car going for a spot. If you started in the back in that event and you ended up in the back, hell, you might have gained a spot or 2 the way that drivers like Brad Kress or Caleb Morrissey got caught up in the action. So there, it wasn't that big of a deal. Up in front, you definitely saw it get a bit feisty, but now 150 laps. Your playoff drivers are marked down in orange and black on your screen, and currently leading driver in the playoffs is Chad Winstead in the 3rd spot on the grid, with Scott Wheeler right beside him. Make it one lap to go before the race gets on its way. Your heat race, it is over, and now the last great coliseum has one more presentation for all its fans. The 150 lap main that comes out to just about 75 miles, and don't let the short distance fool you. It's going to be one long haul here in Bristol, Tennessee. The green flag flies for the first time here, the Racing Warehouse 150, and we already got man spinning in the back. Caleb Morrissey, he saves it, but he's in trouble immediately. And just like that, we'll send it back 15 seconds live on FTN in your first wreck of the night. comes right at the start, and Morrissey caught up in an incident not good at all, and the number 6 loses it on his own accord, and that will be no yellow flag. Everyone else able to get back on their way, but the number 6 certainly caught up in a tough affair. Looking up in front, it's Caleb Morrissey in the 16th spot as the rest of the field gets on its way. We are indeed green for Bristol. And Caleb Morrissey in trouble once again, spins the apron. My oh my, it's gone from bad to worse, and Morrissey looks to be done just like that. Caleb Morrissey, for the second time, involved in a big way with himself. Caleb going through the final 2 turns, doesn't make it there without losing the hood, and he finds himself locked down on pit road. And the number 6 out of the mix, and the heat race was telling. Nothing could go right for this man, and Morrissey looks to be done just like that. Heartbreaker immediately 5 laps in. The number 5 machine is up in front compared to the 6, and that is saying something. Dylan Clark finds himself in 15th right now. And compared to winning the first round of the playoffs overall, this has not been the night he's wanted. Fell back big time in qualifying and is going to have to adapt from there on out. It's Bristol and Atlanta to decide your final 4 who go to race in Fontana. So as it stands, Dylan Clark going to need to pick up that pace if he wants any chance to get this one done. He will have to keep on going, but right now it could be a yellow flag that saves him as Casey Heschel leads the way by 0.2 of a second back up in front. As we keep it moving, it's going to be Casey Heschel in first, then going to be Corey Blevins second, Scott Wheeler third as Chad Winstead battles with Kendall Kerr down to the inside. The number 21 goes. Winstead has himself a night, and he goes right down low looking to avenge himself from last night. Of course, not involved with Kendall Kerr in specific, simply not the night he wanted overall. That number 34 at top 5 pace in the Mark Martin throwback number 6 machine. It simply was not cut out for him at the end of the day. Got involved with Scott Wheeler, went off of his front bumper, and that was a good night for the number 34. Corey Blevins, however, leads the way and settles the score. Scott Wheeler now going to be in second as Casey Heschel fades back into fourth. A lot of time for these guys to get settled in. Only 10 laps, and Scott Wheeler goes down low as he looks for lead once again. 13 machine going to be able to hold on, keeps it up tight, up high as Scott Wheeler goes down and in. It's the 97 out in front, and then Corey Blevins there as well. Side by side for lead once more. It's going to be Corey Blevins up high, using that extra momentum to go down the back with the Scott Wheeler machine. Gets the lunge in the corner, and that will be the big advantage coming out of lap number 12 and lap number 13. That's all she needed, and that number 97 up in front. Scott Wheeler has got the Ford Mustang to the point to Chevy chase him right behind in the podium. Talk about a good run to come back from. The 97 machine for Scott Wheeler has not seen the winning way as often as he did last season. He was far and away best man in this league in season 14. However, now that the drivers have gotten a bit more used to the next gen, it simply has not cut out as well as they'd intend. It's been good so far, but as it stands, a 97 looking to get a victory to put him back on the right track and perhaps lock himself in to the round of 4 very early. There we have it. Scott Wheeler going to be leading from Corey Blevins, Kendall Kerr, and looking way on back. The majority of the field right now is single file. Corey Blevins going to be in second as Caleb Morrissey finds himself in dead last. He's 14 laps down as is and remains on pit road. Not good news for him. Hopefully he gets back out on the circuit, but the shot is slim as no yellow flag is fallen and over 20 laps of racing. And tensions run high at the action track. It's not Richmond though, it's Bristol. And the 97 holds on up in front by now. A collective amount of 0.2 of a second. Corey Blevins going to be in second with Kendall Kerr there in third. Chad Winstead goes down low, and while these guys behind are down low, it seems like the high line is preferred by the men in your podium. Scott going to take them up high each and every time, and that could be a means of saving some tire here, as we do not know whether or not fuel will come into the equation. There's a possibility it does here tonight, but we're only 150 laps. That's about 70 miles worth. The tanks should be good to go all the way if they were allowed to. We've seen many races come down the fuel strategy in this league, and on iRacing you can set the limit for fuel manually and restrict how much these guys can use in a stint. 20 laps in, though, time is flying by. This race appears to be on an awful short pace as the number 97 gets a gap once more on Corey Blevins there in second. Let's look a bit further back here, try to look at what's going on in the picture. Double foul is only seen right now in the middle of the field. It's Terry Brooks right now. No Kenny Brooks battling with Scott Zellner. And now it's going to be Alan Kuhlman pulling through in the midst of it. And Alan Kuhlman needs to recover and recover big. While Caleb Morsey does find himself dead last, and Ramirez and Dylan Clark are both struggling, Goodman is not in the best place on his own. That number 8 machine, always known to be a qualify last, win first kind of guy, puts that victory over everything. But a night like this just does not work out if he can't get that track position. He finds himself in 10th right now. He has gained just a bit, but simply not enough to make a major note of what he can do here in the title battle. He does have many drivers in the playoffs behind him, notably Petit, Clark, Ramirez, and of course the Caleb Morrissey machine, and that does leave him about the midway point, as only at the moment Wheeler, Winstead, McKee, and the aforementioned driver of that number 2 machine, Scott Zellner, who's not in it, leave Alan Kuhlman as the 4th man in the playoffs, currently in track according to position order. 26 laps in, it's Scott Wheeler up in front with Corey Blevins in second as the sun begins to set and the lights begin to shine. The stadium lights due to come in within the next 50 laps, and 26 laps through make it 27. Corey Blevins looking to go through. That's Blevins indeed, making it down the backstretch and getting even closer, 0.15 of a second to get this one done. And as they work their way down the back straightaway, it's going to be the number 97 leading from Blevins. As Kendall Kerr looks on in third, and Kendall Kerr needs a victory as well. Did not make it to the round of 8, not the season he's wanted to follow up with. Your season 14 Titans simply have not been as dominant. Many drivers able to adapt to what was a very challenging car last season, and iRacing's updates have made it a bit more easy to acclimate yourself in as a driver on the surface. With that being said, Kendall Kerr, still one of the best in the business, simply did not get off on a hot start at Charlotte and only missed the playoff bubble by a total of 8 points. The reason why, Chad Winstead came home with a podium in Charlotte, and even though his result at Kansas was only enough to keep him just outside the bubble, the number 21 machine could not finish off the final race of the round of 16 without a major incident at the end. And an incident with who? Your leader right now in Scott Wheeler. Wheeler came into this one as seed number 5, 87 points, 10 points to the good on the driver in that number, 34 of Chad Winstead. And with that being said, simply barely up in front of that bubble, but that's good enough for him right now. You want to be in it no matter what. Caleb Morrissey is racing, but now a total of about 29 laps down, 33 laps in, of a total of 150, and the number 97 leads him in one more time through. Corey Blevins going to be in second with Kendall Kerr in third, Chad Winstead in fourth. Their top 5 pretty spread out except for the top 2 now, and Blevins inching up to that lead. And it looks like Corey Blevins a lot more in the tank than what we are seeing. He seems to be a short track ace so far, and if only it all came out in a track like Pensacola in the playoffs. Came a bit too early there, and Bristol came a bit too late here. However, the 13 putting up a statement race so far as he works his way back off the corner. He won the heat in 35 laps time, but now Wheeler with some extra track position finds himself in front. Regardless of anything before, 36 lap is his, and he takes him down to the next set of laps. A quarter of the way through this show, and with only about 5 laps to go to your first stage at lap number 40, and only about a few laps till we get to that point. The same stage distances as what we saw in Pensacola, going to be 40 and I believe 75 there. So the number 97 has to keep himself on the hustle. He keeps it up high. He knows that Corey Blevins wants these stage points as well. And you know who would need him? Right behind him, Chad Winstead. If Winstead can get by Kendall Kerr and Corey Blevins, what a dream it will be to keep himself in the championship battle. Simply not able to get up there just yet. Kenny Brooks now goes goes down one lap. Caleb Morrissey done for the race. He seems to be disconnected. He got on the track, ran a lap, and that will be it. Simply nothing more in that number 6 tonight. Out of the mix as it's going to be down low. Corey Blevins goes, and we're going to see a battle for the first stage win. One lap to go in stage number 1. Let's find out what happens. It's going to be Kendall Kerr right down low for the taking. Scott Wheeler is advantageous heading into turn number 2 and out of it. He's got that lead. Corey Blevins goes right behind, but it's hard to believe the 97 gets it done just like that. Scott Wheeler, without all too much competition there, wins stage number 1, and we are back on our way to stage number 2. No stage breaks in the Highline Racing League, simply pure racing, and that's going to be it. Scott Wheeler wins stage 1 and back to the racing again. It's almost like you got to have that celebration for about 5 seconds like we do on stream. Just get right back to it. That's all you can really think about it for. And Scott Wheeler, well, he certainly is happy that he got that stage bonus. What really matters is having that track position. It has been hell to find anything up in front. That number 13 machine has been gridlocked in second, and even though he has nobody beside him right now, has simply not been able to make the moves to gain or lose a position. Kendall Kerr, simply put, has himself on the high line as well and has stayed right in tow with the 13. Not much more strategy in mind for him. Just keep on chugging, and you'll be good to go all the way. Scott Wheeler going to be right down low. Right with them, though, it's going to be Corey Blevins, and then Kendall Kerr in third. Working nice and smooth. These drivers are the number 34 machine of Chad Winstead finds himself right outside of the podium. It's Casey Heschel in 5th, James McKee in 6th, and Scott Dellner in 7th. Terry Brooks is going to be position number 8 with Adam Bozzi 9th and Alan Kuhn 10th. Rounding out this field, going to be Dylan Petit in 11th. Roberto Ramirez is in 12th right now, and right in front, going to be a side-by-side battle here to stay just within the top 10 confines. Dylan Petit gets the edge for now, and it's going to be the red, white, and blue machines of Alan Kuhlman and Roberto Ramirez looking to take that spot away. Almost a third of the way through this race already. 47 laps in out of 150, and Bristol has given us one good show. Right now, though, Scott Wheeler leads by a 1/10 of a second, and the battle is all down here for what is now 11th. Ramirez gets by the number 8, and take a look at that. Roberto gets through, and with how spread apart these guys in the playoffs have been, Roberto's not in a bad position. Only a one-time winner entering this section of the playoffs. He got it done in a fuel mileage race at Michigan, but it has been all about turning the jets on since then, and it looks like he's been able to turn up a new leaf. And while he is not up there right now in contention, he simply has outlasted his competitors and opponents tonight. And that might be all he needs to do, working his way through the last great Coliseum. 50 laps in, it's going to be Scott Wheeler leading us down and in once again. Kendall Kerr's right there for the taking, and Chad Winstead's down low for third. Corey Blevins going to be in 4th, and now Casey Heschel finds himself the 5th man in a 5-man race, just like that. The number 49 machine works his way back into the picture. It was a bit of time when we forgot about him, but he's going to say hello once again and maybe say goodbye as Kendall Kerr now finds himself right behind that number 97. Could it be these two dueling for the win at the end of the day? Certainly a possibility. Whether or not it'll be a probability is up to how these guys continue to race. Down low, Kendall Kerr goes a bit lower than normal. Definitely Scott Wheeler making it down to that middle seam means something's going on, and looking off the rear bumper here, that 97 is a big time pressure. Down low, Kendall Kerr has it, and as they work off the back bumper of that number 97, you can see the field has gotten a bit further spread out. Look who's closing in, James McKee. And lap after lap, and Caleb Morrissey saying major technical difficulties on the night, so great to see that he at least started, but a very unfortunate circumstance nonetheless there for that number 6 machine. Starting is better than not showing up at all. With so many drivers out of this race, regardless compared to your usual field, it's good to have those extra points, even if it isn't as many as he would of course like to have. 16th spot on the going here for the number 6 machine, down in 16th. And look at this when we focus back up on the 9, flipping it from the 6 to the 9. It is that number 9 of James McKee, fastest inside the top 6, gaining by about a 1/10 of a second each and every lap at the very minimum, and finding himself oh so close to Casey Heschel now as Scott Wheeler leads the leading fray. The number 9 might be the man who to get it done at the end of the day if he can just continue to run at this pace. Now it's going to be the 49 spread out with the 34. Got close, but no cigar. And the 21 for Lucas Oil looks to power down and put on the Jets. And though he has not been able to make that pass, he's showing signs there is certainly something there in regards to pace. Down low, Kendall Kerr going to be working there with the 97. Once again, Corey Blevins stays in third. Going to be Casey Heschel now battling with Chad Winstead. And as they dice it up, James McKee sitting back and waiting. Nice and smooth. You gotta be in this position. He gets by Chad Winstead just like that. And now up high, he's got himself right next to one. Can he go for two off a corner exit? It looks like he'll have a pretty good shot. James McKee, Chad Winstead now going to down low. The Alani number 34 machine working his way through. Gets by the 7-11. Puts Chad Winstead oh so close to position number 7. And now James McKee is getting to work. The master is in his element right now, and the winningest driver of the season looking to get one more and just put himself into the championship race immediately, trying to get his way in on the very first time of the round of 8 in this league. It could be the playoffs playing in to his run big time at 62 laps in. The 97 of Scott Wheeler holds on out in front, not too far behind, and now right beside it's Kendall Kerr going for the lead. Doubling it up, it's going to be the Deuces position after position, 2 rows of 2 wide racing deep, and the 63rd lap sees them bumping. Casey Heschel puts a shove in on the number 21 as they work their way down once again. And Scott Wheeler now feeling the highs and feeling the lows. He's gone everywhere, down and low. Now finds himself up in front, searching for each and every gain, 10th after 10th. It simply seems like it's not working out for that 97. And looking at the gains, it has not been major. Of course, he's up in front, but he's not in that catbird seat. And we have seen short track races get hectic. Leading at this point in the race does not guarantee you at all a shot to get up there to the checkered flag. So with that being in mind, the 97 will have to be kind to his equipment and go from there, working up, down, and around. The Flow Racing machine finds himself now down low for the lead. It's going to be Scott Wheeler holding his head up high, but there's not much more that he can do. The car is going to be held high as well, as it's going to be the Ford Mustang put back. Kendall Kerr going to be there. A bit of a bumper car stack up as Casey Heschel takes the lead, and his number 49 machine went with the flow. Here, lap 67 will take him down and in. Let's ride a lap on board with the 49. And lap number 69, it has been a nice run for Casey Heschel. Finds himself up in front, your pole sitter converting it back to lead, and now with a 7/10 of a second gap, and you saw it all happen on a rear view look. It was not the rear view mirror, but that's almost exactly what he sees, and now the battle has fallen from what was the lead all the way down to just inside your top 5. It's going to be Zellner working his way through with Corey Blevins. Blevins down low, and Scott Zellner, the only man in this equation who was not up there for the lead, finds himself now looking to take some spots. Zellner gets by Corey and now looks for his teammate for some guidance. The 97 on the number 2. 2 of the 4 horsemen work their way down once again, and it could not be without that number 2. The 97 would not be in that spot at the very least. They go back and forth and trade spots once again. And Casey Heschel coming down for his second stage win. He just has to outlast these guys until lap number 75 to officially seal the deal on stage number 2. 73 laps in, and one half of the main event has already gone by just like that. It has been a blink of an eye here in Bristol, and the 49 machine has himself out in front. 73 laps in. How about this? And the 49 has himself a day. James McKee, though, up in second. And look at that. I mean, nothing else can be told about this number 9 machine. He has been unpredictable. Started in the back of the field, just outside the top 10. Now on paces in the runner-up spot, and he's not dead even with the leader that time through. But it looks like Chad Winstead is as well, coming off of corners 3 and 4. Final lap in stage number 2, and Casey Ashel does indeed seal the deal on the second stage win and gets it done. Stage 1 winner falls out of favor, and it is Casey Heschel who wins the second stage, and now we've only got 75 laps to go. James McKee leads the way out in front of the battle for second, but the overall lead is in its own frame with Chad Winstead battling for the runner-up spot. Winstead looking to keep himself in the equation. James McKee, he is in a very good spot at the moment. He just has to keep on running every single lap. He can just keep on running whatever position. Does not matter as much as a driver like the 34. It's a difference between the guy who will be eventually top seed compared to the man who is not, and it looks like Roberto Ramirez comes down for the first competitive stop of the night. The 42 gets going once again, and Ramirez is going to go on a one-stopper. It looks like it is inevitable to see that the rest of the way. Lighthouse Visuals rooting for Chad Winstead, and the Winstead machine right now running very well. Yet again, Chad Winstead has been due for a victory this season. Got one at Mid-Ohio, capitalized on mistakes last season. Roberto Ramirez, the favorite. That race fell out of favor very early, and the 34 was able to get it done. And while he has not won this season, I'd argue he's been that much better consistently driving the top 5 and the podium. Kendall Kerr now makes his way down and in, and he's going to block our frame there. And how about that? Kendall Kerr's in, and let's get a better look at it. He's in for 4 tires and fuel right in front of our pit road camera. What a perfect angle here. He gets on his way. It's going to be a levitated machine on your end, and he's going to be gasking going it. The 22 gets on the move here. He's going to be in the 14th spot in that Lucas Oil machine, cycling out with 69 to go. A nice pit stop there, and what an angle it was. And it looks like the 49 now working with Alan Kudman. Kudman 1 lap down, and he gets a big block. The 49 gets it all shoved out there. How about that? 68 to go, and Casey Eschel now building a bit of a gap. Scott Zellner comes down to pit road, this time through on his lonesome. And just when we thought we wouldn't see any pit stops, we're getting them here and getting them now. 84 laps in out of 150. Undeniable that it's all shifted, and it seems like the 49 machine has to come down to pit road after all. Chad Winstead getting there in third. James McKee is in second, and up in front, Casey Escher remains, as it looks like now only a total of 3 drivers have gone down to pit road. 66 to go. Yellow flag's out, and it's going to be that time by, I believe, for Kendall Kerr. Yellow flags out for the 21, and let's find out just what happened. Kendall Kerr goes down and around, and the instant replay provided by FTN will show you our first yellow flag after pit cycles, after half of this race has flown. We'll see if this changes the race that much more. 65 laps to go, and the yellow flag for Kerr, who just loses it off of the final corner and finds himself in the wall. Big hit. Adam Bozzi slides away, and the yellow flag flies for your number 21. Big hit for Kendall Kerr. Let's go back live on FTN here, see what's going on as he gets back on his way. It's Casey Eschel leading. James McKee scored in second. How about we get an interview here with the guys up in front, as it's going to be the 49 taking himself down and in to pit road. It's going to be some guys staying in, some guys staying out. Scott Wheeler comes in as well, and it looks like James McKee goes in tow. Casey Eschel at the moment going to be down and in and out, as you have to go through both pit roads at the moment to go into a pit stop in Bristol. Kendall Kerr, though, is still going here, 3 laps down, and now 2 with Roberto Ramirez right there in tow. These are your lap machines that appear to be staying out, bar Scott Zellner, and Zellner in that number 2 machine. He's actually 3 laps down as well. Got caught off cycle. And just like that, 1 pit stop that puts you down a very long way. So with that in mind, how we get a word with the man who is now 3 laps down and from the top 5 just a few laps ago. Things have changed, and things have changed quick. So Scott Zellner, more than half of this race is through, and pit cycles caught you out there a few laps down. What's it going to take to get back in contention?
Miracle. I actually got caught speeding going down pit road because I couldn't slow down fast enough. So I'm probably like 3 laps down at this point. So we're just out here logging laps. We'll see if we can get some yellows, get some lucky dogs.
And the first yellow flag of the night flies after over half of the race distance. So with that being said, do you expect to see more yellow flags, or will we go back to the green flag way of racing?
Well, I think we'll go back to green. We'll hold green for a while, but I am hoping for some yellows. So, real bummer that the yellow came out because I just pitted. So,
and with that in mind, big time strategy shift with this yellow. Now, tires and fuel, I don't believe we'll see any more pit stops. Is that the case?
I highly doubt it. We can make it. We could have made it on fuel from the get-go, but everybody wanted tires.
And there we have it. It looks like one stop is the way to go here in Bristol. Now 62 to go. We'll be going green very soon. So any final thoughts?
Hopefully we get some points for Wheeler. Don't really expect me to do anything the rest of the race. But we're out here logging laps.
And there we have it, still logging some laps here. The number 2 machine, Scott and Sounder, are caught out from a speeding penalty. Still racing in Bristol. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
And Scott and Sounder are going to be brought right back in. The number 2 machine on the way with a total of 61 laps to go. Chad Winstead now out in front. 1 lap to green this time by. And we'll get right back at it with a 34 in the best position. Dylan Clark actually going to be in second now. Corey Blevins in third. And Adam Bozzi is in fourth. Yellow flag is extended one more time around. So with that being said, we'll have one more lap under yellow before the race gets going again. And there you have it. The number 5 machine finds himself up in front. Second spot though, Chad Winstead now in first, and with 60 laps remaining, will it be enough for the number 34 to hang on, or will we see a new driver rise up to the top? This is the game breaker, the game maker, and their first yellow flag in the racing warehouse. 150 comes 90 laps in. Let's go back at it this time by going to be the number 34 machine of Chad Winstead, putting them all on the move and on the groove. Green flag going to fly this time through. Winstead leads it. First restart of the way is on its way indeed. Green flag's out once again from Bristol. And Chad Winstead gets a half a second on the jump that time through. Corey Blevins going to be in second. And now Brad Kress is in third. Dylan Clark getting shoveled out on the high side here. Not much more that he can do in the Thermatrude number 5. Red, white, and blue sporting a special paint scheme. And he's working his way up top. Side by side, 9 to 5 side by side now. And it looks like while he's able to hang on, hang tough, there's not much more that can be done except fading further back. Simply not the night that the number 5 machine has wanted. And in there is all that he can do in the last great Coliseum, as Chad Winstead now 96 laps in is your race leader with a dominating margin over the number 13, 6/10 of a second. However, we have seen it before. This is not over. With a gap like that, you can come back from any distance. And right now, Corey Blevins hopes to prove it as he works his way off of turn number 2 once again. Top 2 guys in their own frame. Then we see a big battle in the middle. Scott Wheeler going to be side by side, and right down low he goes on the 21 machine of Kendall Kerr, slicing, dicing, and it's going to be a bit of a mix-up as they come off of the corner. Now James McKee is fighting with the number 27, and it is a big-time shuffle up. Casey Heschel right down low, and Adam Bozzi keeps in tow. It is a huge battle here for what is position number 5. 5 drivers in this mix. And how about that? Casey Heschel has the edge as he chases down now Brad Kress. And Brad Kress in the 3rd spot right now. He is showing signs that the racing that he had last time we went at him in the Highline Racing League on Wednesday night in the Coke 300 was not a fluke. He was very fast, very elate. not able to get it cut out, though, at the end of the day. Simply was not his night for the win. However, we saw him there late in going in the podium positions, and now he finds himself there with 50 to go as the leading battles heated up as well. Corey Blevins up on the high side. Now it's a shot side by side off a corner exit. Chad Winstead, you there in first, but not for long if the 13 has his way, and it looks like he will. Getting that nice run off, and it's Corey Blevins now in position number 1 as Chad Winstead fades on back into second. Good move for the 13 machine. It could be the race-winning move the way things have gone, and Blevins has been the best man lap in, lap out. It simply seems that 13 is not to be denied. This is the race win that he wants. Even if he is not in the playoffs, it would be a big one. Either way, looking to show that he still has what he takes in this league. Made it to the round of 16, was not able to do all too much with it, but now in a position of power, position number 1, as they come through once again to make it only 46 laps to go. And speaking of positions of power here, third spot now going to be held by the number 49, Casey Heschel, as Brad Kress waves up high. Adam Bozzi now down low, and while Adam Bozzi missed a race and eventually a playoffs, very unfortunate to see that happen. He is still one of the biggest contenders, race in, race out in the regular season. Position number 2 at the end of that part of the season, only to James McKee. He was behind, very consistent in the Bearcat Motorsports number 27, and putting together great drives night after night, week after week. Side by side, he was for a moment there, but keeps himself in fourth as the leader in that number 13 gets it done to stay up in front. But Chad Winstead battles down low once again, and now it's going to be a 4-horse race with one of the 4 horsemen there. It is the number 2 of Scott Zellner trying to get those laps back, and now he finds himself on the back bumper of Kendall Kerr. Kendall Kerr unwavering faith here in his ability as the number 21, a lap machine as well, goes down and goes in, and it's going to be Scott Zellner due to follow him as well. They're both going to be able to get right by him. Now they're only a total of 1 lap down as Blevins gets moved by the lappers. Casey Heschel makes up some big time and finds himself now down to the inside line. Your leader, this is what it's all about. Casey right down low, Chad Winstead up high, and hands to the sky. What a way to do it. The 41 lap to go mark, it is here and it is now, and time is running out. It's almost heat race territory in terms of distance. You've got to capitalize if you want any shot at the victory. And what has been just about the shortest race in the Highline Racing League season all year long. Season 15, no stranger to long events. We've seen some go to midnight. I might not crack the 10:30 mark the way things are looking side by side, but it's going to be Corey Blevins looking at the battle with the lap machines. Kendall Kerr gets by Zellner. Once again, it is that number 13 of Casey Heschel there in second. The 49 is Blevins. Van Heschel going in it. It's going to be Chad Winstead in third. Adam Bozzi is in fourth. James McKee's in fifth, and Scott Wheeler is in sixth as Brad Kress is in seventh. Dylan Clark going to be in position number 8 as Alan Kuman is ninth, and top 10 Dreamin' is Dylan Petit. Side by side, it looks like they are not anymore. It is Kendall Kerr there and Scott Zellner dicing it up, but now they are not. Take a look at this. Casey Heschel right down low. He's going to be in map number 49 once again. Corey Blevins is in the 13, leading the way though. Casey Heschel keeps it honest. Chad Winstead, he's still the third man in this battle, and now Adam Bozzi, James McKee, and Scott Wheeler look on just outside of the podium. Look at this. The 9 machine of James McKee keeps himself intact. He's in the 5th spot. Dylan Clark fades back. He's now in 9th as he battles with Dylan Petit. He gets the better of Dylan that time through, and well, he does have himself in the single digits. It simply looks like nothing more can be done. Dylan Clark played the strategy game very well, got a new set under yellow, as most of the field did, and has kept himself in the single digits. A top 10 night would be phenomenal with guys such as Morrissey and Roberto Ramirez all struggling, and Dylan Petit behind him. It could be the gains just enough to have a good run at Bristol, then Atlanta, that make his way into Auto Club as a Final Four contender. Corey Blevins still leads with 32 laps to go. It is still the show for the number 13 as he makes his way down and in once again. Simply the best race of his season, and it could be a career drive if that 13 keeps it down all low and honest. And it looks like he has. Down and in. Corey Blevins finds himself looking for the win. Make it 30 laps remaining with Casey Heschel in second and Chad Winstead there in third. Top three separated by only about 4/10 of a second here. Corey Blevins is in first, and he works his way in once again. That number 13 Chevy Camaro looking very strong so far, and we've got three manufacturers represented in the top four positions. It's a Chevy leading and a Chevy second. Then you look back to a Ford in third and an Adam Bossi Toyota there in fourth. The manufacturers are all at war tonight. Doesn't matter which one you are. It's all about the teammates, who you got, what you got, and right now, Corey Blevins running on his lonesome. Nobody there to help him out. He's got himself as the big target in that number 13 for Flat Out Esports, and he's been flat out all night long compared to the rest of his competitors. Off of the corner, make it 27 laps to go, and look at that. The number 13 of Blevins makes his way in, dicing it up. Gonna be Casey Heschel in the second spot, fading a bit more once again, and the battle between Scott Wheeler and James McKee is now heating up with Scott Zellner fighting it as well. His teammate right beside him as the number 21 machine of Kendall Kerr works his way high in the Lucas Oil machine. He's trying to tank this one into position as the number 97 of Scott Wheeler continues to contend. His teammate, his Blacktop Racing teammate, James McKee, gets by the number 21 and now finds himself in the top 5 to chase down Bozzy one more time. Good spot for the James McKee machine to be in. He's almost effectively locked in the way he's been driving. Came in tonight, third seat, 96 points up, and now looks to expand on that once again. He has been absolutely great, and he continues to be great the way he's been racing. 24 to go. He just has to hang tough and hang in there as we now have 23 to go. And you know what that means live on FTN. As always, track cams for Gorman's, the highest quality iRacing cameras on the platform. And with 22 to go, they present the Crank It Up with the best cameras on the service. Let's get it cranked up with 22 to go. Crank it up, courtesy of TrackCams22.com. And with only 17 laps to go, it is Corey Blevins out in front, and he takes him down lap after lap without hesitation. 0.3 of a second adrift. It's going to be Casey Heschel there in second. Chad Winstead is in third, but not much more that he can do right now. He would need a miracle to get up there for the victory. Still a good podium run, and he's up in front compared to those in the playoffs. He is right now winning the battle in terms of points compared to every one of his contemporaries. 15 to go. Corey Blevins, imagine he made it into that playoff race. He was close, just no cigar at the end of the day, was not able to make it happen. A total of 17 points out only in terms of missing that cut. But he has been phenomenal so far tonight, and he leads the entirety of the field in, lap out. 10:30 on the eastern seaboard, and this is just about the shortest race that we have had all season long. It has been a great one, though, with 13 down in the books sometime soon. The 13 could be the man who comes home as the winner to tell that tale. Casey Hesher going to be there in second. It's Chad Winstead in third. Adam Bossie going to be in fourth, and James McKee going to be in fifth as Scott Wheeler holds on in sixth. It's going to be Brad Crest in seventh right now. Crest going to be battling with that number 97 machine as he comes up high one more time. The number 29 finds himself very close to that number 97. Is there room for improvement here? Absolutely. Can he take it? We'll find out. 11 laps to get this one done, and 150 laps are all coming down to the final stretch. Alan Kuhlman right now up in front of the battle between Dylan Clark and himself. It's going to be a side-by-side dicer as the number 9 machine in position is Dylan Clark now looking to get into 8th. The 8 machine does not want to relinquish it. 10 laps to go, coming down on the single digits this time by, and Corey Blevins makes it through once again as your leader. However, Chad Winstead now on that bumper here and might have the opportunity to make it deep in that number 34. For Flow Racing, the 49 right there as well, and they're going to be able to work off the backstretch without much hesitation again. Up high, Chad Winstead able to take it one more time through as they work their way off of the front and the back again and again. Simply put, it's been a great race for each one of these three drivers. Corey Blevins might have the edge overall, but that might change. It's going to be Casey Heschel diving way low that time by, and the race lead battle, it is on once again. Chad Winstead now finds himself in second. Dives low is going to be the number 34 machine going for the lead, and what was a third place run at the very least has now become a three-car dogfight to get this victory. 6 laps to go now. It's going to be Chad Winstead right down low as they work their way off the back once again. The 34 has an advantage in the inside line. Corey Blevins, though, has that momentum, working off with a power 5 to go. It's a photo finish at the line. Doesn't stay that close for the final 5 laps. Still a little time. I think it must stay that way. Of course, Chad Winstead wants it that way, and it catches my breath, and I'm sure it's catching yours. It's a breathtaking run. Winstead of the line gets close. No cigar once again. 4 laps to go, and Lighthouse Visuals saying, Ricky, Bobby, Chad, if you ain't first, you are last. And it looks like Winstead sticking tried and true to that one right now. The 34 right on the edge. They make contact. Chad wiggles, and he's going to stay in it. He goes right down low once again. 3 laps to go. Casey Heschel is now watching this battle, and he is up in the middle of it. Going to be the 23 of Kenny Brooks. No, Terry Brooks right down low as Winstead gets almost blocked big. He peeps his foot in it, and he is good to go. 2 final laps, and Heschel's in the wall once again. Casey Heschel almost down and out just like that. Chad Winstead down low, and Casey Heschel tries to swipe the lead. 1 lap to go in Bristol, and they're door banging the line once again. It is all here and now. The 34 machine, 1 lap left, keeps it right down low as they work their way off Chad Winstead with one final opportunity to dive in deep. He goes, he shows, but it looks like there will be no chance off corner exit as the number 13 of Corey Blevins gets it done. Corey Blevins wins the Racing Warehouse 150. And a comeback victory after the other defeat of not making the playoffs. The number 13 showed them all tonight. Nothing more that anyone could do even at the tail end of this race. And the 13 already gonna burn down the house. Stick around for interviews and the like as the 13 gets ready to rip this one out. And just like that, the number 13 machine of Corey Blevins has burnt this one down, and he comes home with a well-deserved victory. And what a way to come back here in Bristol and put on a great show in the last great Coliseum. Nobody on your level here tonight, and the number 13 comes home as a winner for the first time this season. How do you feel after this one?
It's amazing. You should hear me screaming on the radio. Oh man, it feels good. It really does. Finally, I just out of the chase, so it kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
And even though you are out of the championship bubble here, the number 13 came back with a vengeance, and you were the fastest man from the get-go, able to find yourself as a pole sitter after the heat race, and the race pace was as good as it could get. So what kept you up there? It seems like you had something in that car unlike any other week.
Yeah, I got to give it credit probably to my new wheel. I'm still adjusting to it. I was still overrunning it there. So I fell back there just a little bit. I kind of learned that second round not to run it so hard, and it just finally came to me. Thankfully, yeah, it was pretty fast tonight. Maybe I just needed a short track, I guess.
And it looks like the short track racing, it was able to suit you well. One caution night, a very quick, very clean race. And how did that impact your strategy?
Yeah, like I said, I had fallen behind there, and then that caution really saved my race. Honestly, I probably would have finished 10th or 11th. It was falling back quite a bit. I was probably going to actually have to pit because of the tire wear being so bad. So that was a saving grace for me. If I didn't get that caution, I would not be in victory lane at all. So whoever brought out that yellow, thanks.
And the yellow flag playing into the favor of your race winner here tonight. Now, 2 races left from this point in the season. It's going to be Atlanta and Auto Club. Do we expect to see you there once again, contending for the win?
Well, I hope so. This new wheel definitely helps. We'll give it another go. You never know. I hope to, maybe be contending for more wins. Now we'll see what happens.
And we will see a phenomenal finish here for the number 13. Corey Blevins gets it done in Bristol, baby. The Racing Warehouse 150 winner. Any final thoughts to wrap this one off? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Hazard Design, my sponsor tonight. Keys Architects and Associates, they've been on my car for a long part of the season, so I want to thank them as well. My team, Flat Out Motorsports, I don't know what I'd do without them, honestly. Give a shout out to Grant Davis. He kind of, showed me what to do here. So it probably had a factor in me winning tonight, so I appreciate him as well.
And it all came together for the driver of number 13, Corey Blevins, wins the Racing Warehouse 150 here in Bristol. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for the broadcast.
And there we have it. Blevins going to be on his way, coming home in position number 1 and just away from the win once again. Able to get it done in hot lapping and oh so close at the end of the day here in the race. Casey Ashel, second in the Racing Warehouse 150. What was it like out here in the last great Coliseum?
Oh, it was awesome. Felt really good. Thought I had a really strong car on the long run there, and I think that kind of showed after that first run how I came from like 3 or so seconds back and then passed the leaders on, I think, the bottom and pulled them by about a second and a half, 2 seconds before that yellow came up.
And all about that pace in the longer run. It seems like whenever you had the opportunity to get the laps going, which we had a lot of opportunities to, you'd have it moving and very quick. Do you think if there was a little more time, you'd get that win?
I don't know. I'm kind of peeved right now with how this yellow flag went, and I don't know how I can I don't know how I can pit from the lead and then restart 6th behind people that also pit, but they pit early and had blacks cleared. So a little frustrated there. I'm not taking anything away from Corey. He outdrove me there at the end, but I don't know that we should have came to that.
A few differences there at the end of day, but nonetheless, still 2 more shots in the championship season. There's still, of course, Atlanta and Auto Club. Now, I do believe that we've discussed it before. Don't expect to see you at the very least at Auto Club. Is this it for the season?
This is it for the season. It kind of sucks to go out like this, not going to lie.
There we have it. After all of the action all season long, Casey Ashel brings it home in his final start in season 15 here in second. Nonetheless, we got to thank you for the season of racing. Another solid performance here in Bristol. So with that being said, any final thoughts, anyone else you'd like to thank after this season's racing?
I appreciate you guys coming in here week in, week out, and broadcasting all these races. I enjoy going back the next day and kind of watching the film and hearing you guys commentate it. you guys do a great job, and Toby and Kendall and Texicon and the Ready Foundation, everybody that helps put this league on. I can't say enough about them guys.
And there we have it, Casey Heschel, a winner this season all around. One of the best in the business, comes home second in his final start of the season here in Bristol. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Heschel going to be back on his way. And the final man in your top three, Chad Winstead. And while the man in the 34 machine may have not gotten the win, he bested all those who were in the playoffs with them, and that means an awful lot. Able to come home on top of your playoff contemporaries in Bristol. What's it like after a third place run here in the Racing Warehouse 150?
Well, feels. I mean, I'm happy that I got the best of the playoffs, but to be that close to another win, I feel like it's just another so close but so far situation. So I'm glad that I was able to best those guys and get a podium, and we had a heck of a race there at the end. That was a lot of fun battling with Blevins and KC, but just couldn't quite get it done.
And oh, so close at the end. Tonight's story was all about the long runs and the very lone pit stop we saw under yellow. A lot of guys going down there. It seems like that changed the fates for a few guys, including yourself. So can you walk us through strategy all night long?
Yeah, so I knew the bottom was going to be better for saving tires in the long run, and I figured we had a shortened field tonight. We'd have a lot of green flag action. So I just committed to the bottom early, even though it was slower, and just saved tire. And I did benefit there on that caution. It looked like the pit lane opened right as the field was coming around to pit lane, and that got me twice last season where it screwed me, and I either lost the lead or second place. So I was not going to let that happen again. I was taking it a little bit easy, waiting for that pit lane to open. As soon as it did, I dove down on pit road, got my tires, and came out first, and that definitely helped on that second stint.
And able to manage the strategy quite well to keep on gaining, and you're going to be in prime position to go all the way from this point on. We've only got 2 races left in Auto Club and Atlanta, which is going to be directly next. What will it take from here on out with this finish in mind to get to that Final Four?
Well, the Final Four finish would be a lot easier if I would have won that race, and I told Blevins, I was like, I really could have sent it in a little bit harder a couple of those turns, but that's just not the way I race. I wanted to beat them fair and square, but that bottom line would just not stick coming off the corner. I could not get the drive off like the top could. So kudos to him. Hopefully we can, just get another consistent top 5 finish or so at Atlanta and move on to the top 4 or better yet, a win.
And with that in mind, either way, might have not been a win, but still up there with the best of them all night long. Chad Winstead, 3rd place here in Bristol. So when it comes down to any final thoughts, anyone else you'd like to thank?
Thanks to all the friends and family out there that tuned in and cheered me on. Hopefully we put on a good show there at the end. I know that was probably one of the most fun finishes I've had in this league, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Atlanta with another good result.
And that's what we love to see. Chad Winstead, ever the competitor, finds himself 3rd position here in the Racing Warehouse 150. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And there we have it. Chad Winstead going to be on his way in that number 34. And let's get your race results that we did not see before we get to wrap this one off. We don't often do that anymore, but Bristol is such a short track. Really can't get away with anything besides waiting for the burnout to begin first, and then you go from there. So with that in mind, let's get to it. Kick it back. We've still got the race results to show you on us. Of course, you all know it this one by now. It is Corey Blevins who gets it done over Casey Heschel in 2nd, with Chad Winstead in 3rd, Jason McKee in 4th, and Adam Bozzi in 5th, and Brad Crest 4 seconds off comes home in 6th. Dylan Clark going to be position number 7. It's going to be Scott Wither in 8th, and Alan Kumman in 9th, and Dylan Batik going to be in position number 10. It'll be Roberto Ramirez 1 lap down 11th, and your retirees go from there with Terry Brooks 12th, Scott Zellner 13th, Kendall Kerr 14th, and Kenny Brooks in 15th. Caleb Morrissey and Dylan Body are early exits, as Dylan Body was race control for tonight's event. And how about that? The number 13 of Blevins puts on a show and gets it done here in the Highline Racing League. Great to have him back in action. A great finish for a driver who absolutely needed one. What a way to do it for the number 13, getting it done here in Bristol, baby. The last great Coliseum comes down to this And how about it once again? I've been your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Kreutz. We'll be back tomorrow with the Iora Thank the Heroes 300, a special event there, but a special race here for the drivers up in front as the Racing Warehouse 150 has came and went. This has been a presentation of the Highland Racing League and the Racing Warehouse 150. We thank y'all for watching and hope to see you whenever we are live once again on FTN.